This morning I'd like to talk about Michel Foucault. Foucault is important because of his method. His method is called archaeology. In contrast to Friedrich Nietzsche, Nietzsche utilized what is called a genealogy. Nietzsche looked into the foundations of morality, put them into question, and uprooted, overhauled these systems of morality. Foucault is different insofar as he looked into the prison system and tried to understand how the subtle rules, for instance, of society right now, actually are a manifestation, a reflection of the kind of discipline imposed in these prison systems, in the kind of rules that have been employed in these mental institutions. When we speak, for instance, of the order of things, we usually see things on the basis of what Foucault calls a similitude. What this means is that reality is that which is being represented. So, for instance, if we talk about money and the value of money, you look at things that produce pleasure, things that create pleasure, you consume them, and so therefore you try to say that, for instance, on the basis of language, words have meanings insofar as they are a representation of things. The word in this regard is that which symbolizes the object to which it is corresponding to. Now, in reality, however, Foucault thinks it's about control. It's about where power lies. And here he talks about, for instance, the story of Damien's the Regicide. In Discipline and Punish, Damien's the Regicide was being punished because he attempted to kill the King of France. Okay. Now, what is shown in the spectacle, in the theater of torture, is that the state, the sovereign, who has power over everyone, is in control. And so in this regard, when we speak of society, when we speak of institutions, it's as if the state is in control of everything insofar as it has power over people. But this kind of power is not the same as the way it has been made manifest in the spectacle, in the torture of Damien's the Regicide. It's different because it's not physical torture. It has been hidden into rules, laws, regulations, and policies, and actually undermine the freedoms of people, but people do not realize that. Why? Because they submit themselves to the sovereign. And while they submit themselves to the sovereign, however, it's not really the sovereign that is controlling them. It's really because they allow the sovereign, the state, to control them. And so precisely when we speak of institutions, we do not realize, we do not understand that this type of discipline, this type of subtlety is something that is there, hidden in terms of prejudice, hidden in terms of bias. When we believe that somebody at the top is better than you, when you believe that in the hierarchy, there are people, there are individuals who are supposed to deserve things more than you do, that kind of mind control, that kind of thought control is something that happens because the system manipulates the individual. So precisely this is what structures do. This is what the institution actually does to people. It's like there is what we call a panopticon. We're being observed. It can be the state. It can be a person of authority. In schools, you have teachers who look at students, who control students, who provide rules to students, who tell students what to do. They are gods. And students are nothing but subjects. People whose minds and bodies are docile. By this, we mean that people simply follow. They follow because that is the rule. They do not question the rule. They follow because it is what they are told. Meaning to say, it undermines human reason. It destroys the very way upon which the individual is supposed to value himself. Now, Foucault did not say that this is what exactly things or reality should be, because otherwise he'd fall prey into the same accusation that he has heard in the order of things. What he says is that this is how power permits human society, controls people, controls the bodies of people. People think that they should appear beautiful. People think that they should abide by standards of beauty. People think that their thought will have to correspond to something. And this precisely is what similitude is all about. This precisely is what representation is all about. Knowledge is that which is accepted by society. What is right and what is wrong is that which is being determined by society. So what you call norm, therefore, is simply power play. What you call as acceptable to society is simply a manifestation of those hidden biases and prejudices. So in the end, it destroys and distorts human freedom. And so for Foucault, therefore, power is everything, because it is power that controls people. But when we say that power controls people, it's not as if because people have power, that those who are in positions of power or those who hold power can actually control people. It's actually because we allow others to control us, and it is for that reason that they have power over us.